Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is your tarot reading for the first week of the year. So happy new year. We start with the 10 of Swords. Now, before you stop or jump out of the video because this card looks terrifying, do not fear, do not worry. Despite it looking a bit ominous, it's all good. And despite it being called the Lord of Ruin. 10 of Swords is always about endings, usually abrupt endings. As much as there is that dark sky, what's most important to focus on is this band of yellow at the horizon. It's a reminder that there are brighter days ahead, or it's the dawning of a new day. In this case, a dawning of a new year, but a reminder to keep hope, to keep optimism, to keep a sense of joy, really, for what may come ahead, even in those darkest times. The definition of faith really is being able to see the light where there is perhaps only dark. So whether your 2024 was a bit of a challenging year, I think it was for many of us. I know it certainly was for me. It definitely had its highs and lows. The important thing is that we don't allow that to diminish, is what I meant to say, or diminish our sense of optimism, our sense of being able to look forward. This is very, very true given that the Ten of Swords is in combination with the next card, which is the Strength card. This is the absolute definition of what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. I'm sure you've heard me say before, but it's those trials, those tribulations, those frustrations, those difficulties where we learn the most, where we grow the most, where we learn the most about our resilience. Really, it is in time of adversity and challenge where if we are able to approach it with a sense of grace, with a sense of dignity, with a sense of courage, that we should feel most proud of ourselves. A question to be asking yourself, therefore, is, well, what am I hopeful for? What am I looking forward to? And am I allowing that sense of dread? You know, for some of us, the beginning of the year, the turn of a new year can bring a sense of anxiety, a sense of a dauntedness, really, because of those things that we feel as though we have to achieve, that we should be achieving, or that we don't want to repeat some of those challenges and difficulties that have come the year ahead. The other wonderful thing about the Ten of Swords, and this may be surprising to hear, is that it is perhaps one of the most spiritual cards within the deck, too. The hand gesture that the person is making is exactly the same as the Hierophant from the tarot. And the Hierophant is the spiritual leader. Therefore, it's a bit of a reminder of, well, what is our spiritual life looking like? The important thing of faith is that it gives us an unwavering hope and trust that everything is going to work out well, even in the face of adversity, or even in those kind of seemingly bleakest or most difficult times. As much as this may sound kind of a slightly heavy reading, for me it isn't, and this is a point of choice of, actually, are we going to look upon those things that we're hopeful for, or are we going to allow ourselves to slightly slip into this point of despondency? And this is beautifully summarized in the Four of Cups, which is the Lord of Blended Pleasure. It's always a slightly ambiguous card, this, because the protagonist, you can't tell if they're in a point of reflection and meditation or looking a bit despondent. But what is clear is that there are opportunities, there are gifts that the universe is trying to present us, if only we stay open and receptive to that. Which again links very, very strongly with this new hope, this new dawn is breaking. So let me reiterate that even if the end of last year was particularly challenging, sometimes we feel as though we're running on low gas, or we spread ourselves a bit thin, or the year before has been with its challenges. Um, just keeping an eye and a focus of, okay, that is done. Allow the past to be done. This is the great thing about the Ten of Swords, is that it does represent endings. The number 10 numerologically represents that. So really allow the turn of the year to be that full stop, that we're starting a new passage, we're starting a new chapter, that we're able to write a new book, that we're being given and you in particular, Capricorn, are being given this opportunity to start afresh, to start anew, and be selective about what you are and aren't taking forward. Because if you find that you're bringing with you some of those challenges, some of that dread, some of those what ifs, some of those feelings of perhaps disappointment, if we're feeling as though, oh, we're just picking up where we left off from last year, then that's going to very much impact and inform on that new book that you're writing. So I would really encourage that you only take the good bits forward with you, as very much indicated by the strength. This is maybe a little bit of a testing time, but it's often within the testing times that we discover the most about ourselves, and being able to bring forward that courage and that optimism and that self-belief for 2025. Those gifts that the universe might be bringing in, don't be surprised if they come in thick and fast. We have the Eight of Wands, which represents that, the Lord of Swiftness. The wonderful thing about life is that it can change on a dime, right? So sometimes when things are feeling a little bit frustrated, a little bit heavy, a little bit bleak, then just like that, the sun can peek over the horizon and there's this great splay of sunshine. And similarly, if we're really up, then sometimes things can go a little bit turbulent. So that is just the natural rhythm and cycle of life. So the more that we're able to be in tune with that, the better. But most importantly, if you can develop this sense of, okay, universe, I'm up for it. I'm up for whatever you want to bring. I'm up for living in flow. I'm up for welcoming in the gifts that you may have to offer. Don't be surprised if they come in thick and fast, because there's such a contrast, isn't there, between this Ten of Swords, which is I always see a very kind of abrupt, still, very kind of sometimes stagnant energy, and then this rapid movement. So this is why I mentioned how things can very, very quickly change on a dime. And that doesn't mean that if you're having a great time that bad things are ahead. Quite the contrary. It's just a reminder, just enjoy them while they last. This subject of choices is coming through very, very strongly as well. This Two of Pentacles card is the card that has appeared the most in all the readings that I've done. The Two of Pentacles, the Lord of Perfected Work. It's unsurprising to me that this is the card that seems to be showing, because it is all about weighing up options, and that tends to be what we're doing at the beginning of any year, of looking at what works best for us. Typically in the other zodiac readings, this has been weighing up options of external factors, things like money, things like jobs, and you may also find, Capricorn, that includes you too, particularly on a financial sense. Maybe we've slightly overstretched ourselves financially over the festive period, unsurprising, and how do we bring that slightly back into balance? But more importantly, I would say this is about bringing choices back into balance. Am I going to choose the optimist route, or am I going to choose the pessimist's route? Because the Two of Pentacles with the Four of Cups really seems to say that you're on the precipice of looking at either of those things. Are we just focusing on what we already have, or are we focusing on the opportunities, possibilities, and probabilities that the universe can bring us? So yeah, might be a slightly mixed bag for you this week, but ultimately it leading to a very, very positive outcome. So yeah, ensure that you're keeping upbeat this week. If you want some more information, if you want some more guidance, be sure to check out your ascendant and moon sign. If you're not sure how to discover that, then visit the website wellnessfoundry.co.uk, go to offerings and see free weekly readings, and you'll discover how to discover how many discovers, to find out your rising sign and your moon sign. But until next week, have a gorgeous, gorgeous first week of the year, and see you then. Bye for now.